so we just been to the shop and we've got some 2x1 to start with the battening. Zach, since the last video, has run wires all around the van.
Yeah, that was a job, because we had to first finalise your exact layout, where you want certain appliances, what you're going to do with them, in terms of layout.
Tedious.
Yeah, then obviously size your cables accordingly, take into fact it's behind conduit and insulation, all that good stuff. But your man Greg Virgo does an epic video that can't be topped. So we're not going to bother doing that, and there's heaps of videos out there for the windows and roof fan, so we just not bothering. We've got footage.
Yeah, if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer and try and help.
Yeah, but we're just not going to bother doing a video for that.
Also, when we went to the shop, we got this Trend pocket hole jig. Everyone is raving about it, saying it's a very good bit of kit. We haven't actually had a look at it yet, but it's to get accurate joinings in the timber, so hopefully we don't make a pig's ear of the battening.
And that's that, so we're just going to crack on now, eh?
Yeah, get the battening in before the insulation.
So we got done doing all the battening pretty much. It's pretty much square. Like you can see with this, it's there or thereabouts. The important thing is obviously that after the panel ply sheet goes on top, it sits flush over all of them, which I'm confident that these will. We've pretty much now just got to put the insulation in. There's a few little finicky bits and pieces to do with the battening, but we'll kind of, namely with stuff like this. So where we want to get, obviously we're allowing 9mm for the plyboard to go in, so it sits flush from the floor. But it's going to come in, so I might have to chamfer something in there to get it nice and tight, but we're not going to know that till we start putting the ply on, so we can fiddle with that then. But apart from that, on the whole it's done, so yeah, we're happy with that. Nearly dropped the square. And that's that.
Here, as you can see in our battens, we've cut out a recess channel to put our wires that are in the conduit, because before they were just sat on this shelf, and when we put the battens on, obviously we'd almost have to squash them down to put this in. So we've put them in the recess channel, and also it holds them nice and secure, and it works for us. Start insulating the van after putting all the battens in yesterday. We're using the Knauf Earthwool, and then your classic foil bubble wrap vapour barrier to put over the top.
It's a technical term.
Yeah.
Yeah, the space blanket stuff. Yeah, we've gone for the 100mm because you can get thinner, which is a better fit profile for these, the gaps in these vans and the wall panels. But being 100mm, once it's in there and compacted down, it will give a bit more of a better fill. And we're just, as per the floor, we're using classic alley tape to tape this on afterwards and cover all the gaps. And just a Stanley blade to cut it. It's pretty straightforward. So
just get stuffing.
Yeah.
Go on, Zach, do you think?
Dracaris.
As we've been putting the vapour barrier up, we've been cutting holes through, obviously to bring the wire through roughly where we want them, and then we will seal this with the alley tape just to make sure it's watertight.
The other thing we're going to do, we're just going to have a little fill underneath the vapour barrier for where our battens are. Just use an offcut as a straight edge, try and find roughly whereabouts the centre of the batten is, which I guesstimate is about there. And then we'll take a marker and we'll just mark that. Like so. So we have an idea as to where the centre of our batten is when it comes to screwing the ply.
Colour doesn't mean much.
Amy, do you want to tell everybody how much you love opening this tape?
No.
Why not?
Doesn't come undone. I'm not getting stressed. And I've got patience, but... Cheers!
Stop pulling, stop pulling. Know how it is. Colour doesn't mean much.
So Amy's just filling in the door there. A lot of the cables and stuff are all sleeved, so you can stuff right in around those. However, on the back doors, if we come over here, around this part, which you now can't see because we've closed it up, you've a mechanism around here for this latch. You've also got another mechanism for this latch where the push buttons go in order to open the doors all the way. Those are sort of left the gap about this, which we've taped around so the insulation doesn't shift. We are going to change these because they're gadgy and horrible. But apart from that, fill the rest of the doors out. Again, this mechanism is a sleeved cable, so you haven't really got to worry about that. And as you can see, it's stuffed in like so. And we're going to make up some new templates for these. We've of course pulled our cables all over the van and tried to seal around them as best as we can. What happened?
I'm waiting for the drill.
And yeah, obviously this is where our fuse boxes are going to go in the classic spot under the wheel arch. And it's noticeably weird with different with sound in here, isn't it?
Yeah, so much, because obviously when we took the bulkhead out, we're driving around for a bit, empty van, it was so loud, and since we put this in, it's some quiet, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice.
I actually enjoyed this part of the build, it was alright, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's quite
You don't have to
straightforward.
really think, if you know what I mean, you just stuff.
You're walking yourself into these ones, girl. So what we're going to do for this bit, because of course this is the last sort of angled section on this roof, rather than having to try and bend a bit of ply or cut a strip that's going to go in, we thought it might be nice to carry the contour on with some of this tongue and groove. So the only issue we got is that there's not really a lot to screw into because these joists have like a big hole centre cut. So ideally we should have really put some battening in between to screw into, but that's a mission we're not going to get involved in now because we've already got to this stage. So what we're going to do is just put this tongue and groove on there at an angle like that to carry the roof down. However, of course, to get this groove into, well, to get that groove set with that tongue, it's just not going to happen. It's going to mean we're going to have to undo all of these to bring it down, and then you're going to lose quite a bit of roof space because it's going to have to be offset. These are going to have to be packed with spaces. It's going to be a mission. So rather than do that, we're going to take off this top channel of the groove so we can put the bottom right up to there. And I'll show you how we're going to do that. So what we're going to do to remove this top bit of the groove, we're just going to set the depth with a circular saw, just like so, so it only takes out that top groove and not the bottom, and run it along. I think it needs to come up a tiny bit by the looks of it. If you've got a table saw, lucky you, it'll be a hell of a lot easier doing something like this, but we don't, so this is what we're using. And I'll bring it up slightly, lock it out, and hopefully that should then only take out that top groove.
So Zach, what are you excited about today?
Well, obviously needed a new toy, and you know what I was saying about the circular saw? Disregard everything, because I'm going to use this new router. I brought a router. Going to use this new router.
I'll just go down so it takes off your doogie. It's beautiful, babe.
That's what we've done to get that square and straight as we can. So we use the old caliper to measure the depth of the groove for the tongue. And we've used a router, and I mean I've never used one before ever. I mean, it's straight enough, isn't it? This piece of timber isn't, but she'll screw up all right. So after we routed out that top piece of the groove, we've put this up. It's not pretty, I'm not completely happy with it. We split a little bit here where I tried to put a screw in, but we're going to paint this. I can put wood glue and filler in there anyway. These you're not going to see, those can be painted, blah blah blah, not too fussed, but it's there and it continues to chamfer the roof. With this side, of course, we're going to have overhead cabinets all the way here to the back of the van. So we're still going to put a piece in here, but what we're going to do, because the cabinets are going to finish here, hence all the wiring, because our switch is going to be end of the cabinet. So for this piece, we're going to put another piece in like so, but we're going to run this piece from the front at this angle to just past where the cabinet's going to sit, so about there, because that way once we've put the cabinet on, you're not going to see a join or a split from when we run a piece up to the cabinet and then from the cabinet back. So the insulation's all in, vapour barrier's all up.
It was quite a nice part of the build, very straightforward, didn't have to think too much.
Yeah, so she's pretty much done. We're just putting these last couple of pieces in, as you're going to see, to carry on with the contour of the roof as discussed. So it gives us a nice straight edge to bat the plyboard up to. So that's the next step, is get the plyboard in and get the walls on and actually start building.
Yeah, get that bed built.
Whoa.